Thanks so much for joining us on the Bridge 99 FM, the station that reaches out to Jamaican lovers anywhere and everywhere across the world. It's time for the public eye. I'm Ronald Thwaites, been doing this kind of program for over 50 years. Happy to have you join us anywhere you are. Give us your feedback. The numbers are 876-551-5782 for the WhatsApp and text line. And the studio line is 876-676-4996. Pearnel Charles Sr., the Honorable, is my co-host. I don't see him yet, but if you saw traffic on the road of St. Andrew and Kingston today, you might understand why. It's hard to keep the dates and times that we make. So we look forward to him. Later on, please remember that you can join us when we join with Erwin Clare on our sister station, Irie Jam Radio in New York for the Global Connection Hour. Remember, too, that you can watch our live stream at www.thebridge99fm.com wherever you are in the world. The Instagram connection is at thebridge99fm. And you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, Bridge99FM. You can keep up with all the happenings by downloading the Bridge99FM app in the Google Play Store and the Apple Store. These are the connections. The Bridge99FM, a unique station linking the home with the abroad, making those who live far away, bringing them home, especially at Christmas time, you know, and every time too. Jamaicans never shake the dust of their homeland off their feet. And so wherever you are, whatever you've been through, whatever the cause for your movement, whether you're visiting, settling, second or third generation, this program is rebroadcast to a wide variety of markets and audiences. Please stay tuned to The Bridge and join in the discussion of public affairs on the public eye. Later on in the program, Julian Robinson, who is a member of Parliament for South East St. Andrew and the opposition spokesman on finance, is going to join us because he's been asking questions why this new presumably very important wage agreement between the government and the public sector hasn't been published in its full text. And today in the Gleaner this morning, the customs workers are complaining that the Jamaica Civil Service Association, which has bargained for them and agreed to the terms of this new agreement, new understanding, has in fact mixed them up. They don't fully understand what they're getting and what they're losing, because allowances are going to be collapsed into basic pay. But what happens to the allowances they've received already for the financial year 2022 to 2023, and what happens to some of the allowances and perquisites that they had in the past isn't clear at all. So Julian Robinson will answer those questions, perhaps raise some other questions. The statements that I've heard from the Minister of Finance up to now have tried, but really haven't succeeded in being clear at all. Very important issue, you know. And there we go. Well, and there is the question of the taxi drivers. You know, there are thousands and thousands of taxi drivers in Jamaica nowadays. And the cabinet has decided that those many hundred, maybe even thousands of them who have outstanding traffic tickets are going to have until the end of January to pay the accumulated fines. Well, they better pass a law to that effect very quickly, you know, because if they don't, then the executive will be trespassing on the remit of the courts. And I don't think that that's constitutional or correct at all. When you're fined, which is the penalty for not honoring a traffic ticket, that's a judicial decision. Yes, and when that's the case, it is the courts to make a determination of when you have to pay that fine or suffer that penalty. It's not cabinet. So if the government changes the law and makes a specific provision to that effect, then of course the courts will oblige. But we need to get some very clear distinctions on these subjects, and we don't want one side of the administration to be in any sense overtaking the responsibilities of the other. I'm very concerned too about the continuing state of violence, I call it that, on the roads of Jamaica. You know, when you visit Jamaica, when you drive here, the congestion and the lawlessness as far as traffic is concerned is a very serious thing. And over 400 Jamaicans have been killed on the road and countless more been injured, lives compromised, families made more vulnerable this year alone. Why is it? What are we going to do about it? The single and simple repost has been, we're going to have a new Road Traffic Act, and that's going to be so severe in its penalties that everybody will comply. You know, I don't think that's going to work at all. And therefore, we need to be very, very clear on how we're going to change around this unnecessary bloodlust that takes place on our roads. I welcome the Honourable Pearnel Charles. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. I appreciate the fact that you are sympathetic to what is happening on the road. I have never seen so many cars on the road this hour, on this day, for, well, I don't think I've
for
seen
a long
it
time.
before.
Yes, ever before. I once, not too long ago.
I left my house nearly an hour ago.
Look here now.
And I had to drive like a taxi man around at the Canadian place.
How much ticket?
Come up on the wrong way.
How much ticket you have?
Well, fortunately, the police must have been a little tired. They weren't out there at that time.
But I want to ask you, some time ago, an official from the Inter-American Development Bank came here and saw that the number of cars, and particularly the Chris cars on the road, and the report was, you people not poor. You've spent your money. Look at it. You are living at a standard and transporting yourself at a standard which is higher than many other countries with greater GDPs than you have. What do you think?
Well, put it one way. You must have had extra jobs or something that allow you to borrow money from banks, or more people willing to lend money. In other words, you must have gathered money somehow to bring the cars in and distribute them. So are things better off? Are people better off there? Or people have reached a stage where public transport is just not in? I'm not going to be able to take the children to school. I'm going to get there in time. It's better for me to get a car. And 10, 15 years ago, the cars that we have on the road were not around. There were big cars, American second-hand cars, Buick, this, that. Now small cars carrying 4 and 5 passengers. You have said it, so let me remind you that it has actually destroyed public transport. Mm-hmm. There is no room for a bus from Red Hills to come to Halfway Tree in 2 hours this hour, carrying less than 10 passengers, because the people say, you're not going to get there, so better me take a taxi that can get around you.
But then 2 things. One, we're still paying for the public transportation that has failed us. Yes? We are. We're paying $10 billion a year for the JUTC alone. So we're not getting the service that we really need, but we're paying the cost of its existence. If that isn't full economics.
How you pay the cost of its existence? The cost is for petrol, payment to work done by workers, and so what you're saying, people are going to work and don't have work to do?
No. Well, obviously, if the bus, as you just said, with the bus coming from Red Hills with 7 passengers in it.
Yeah, well, what is key in that is that you have the buses, but they're not earning any money.
So how come the system begs for rationalization? I think that we've gone over the precipice on this one, and quite frankly, I think we misplaced our priorities. We continue to live like Americans on Jamaican pockets. Yes, and we have enriched every second-hand car dealer in Japan and Singapore, and we continue to do so. And it is undoubted that it is a better convenience if you can afford a motor vehicle. And bank credit, which ought to have been used for many more productive enterprises, not that motor vehicles aren't sometimes productive, has been expended to buy something in foreign exchange, which can only cost foreign exchange because fuel is, we don't...
Which you are not earning.
Exactly, which we're not earning. And we are going on, to use a phrase from the Bible, like Gadarene swine, without thinking this thing through, Mr. Charles. And I think it is incumbent on persons like your good self and myself to say, look here, this may feel very nice to have a Chris car, but it is unsustainable.
Well, let's just go a little further. You're speaking to one who was either privileged or the opposite to be Minister of Public Utilities and Transport.
Why you think a dropping word on you?
Okay. I know it couldn't work. What I said could possibly work,
yes, sir,
were smaller transports. So we get into the minibus business.
Yes.
And we divided the city into several
Quadrants,
areas,
yes,
and said, listen, you are blue, you are coming from here.
Yeah.
You are white, you are coming from here.
Right.
And we were able to divide it out and give it to leaders,
Sure,
who would get about the bed and see that it, in my opinion, I see one section still survive. And there's a survive from Red Hills to down at the post office, the Price Right.
right.
There's still bus coming, although they're coming just too fast, but they're still transporting.
The system is still working.
And I don't hear any complaint. People
Really?
are getting up and getting down.
Okay.
Now, some of those buses are still in the system.
Yeah. These are smaller buses.
These are the smaller buses. These
Coaster and minibus and so on.
They're minibuses up to 20 passengers.
Right. Okay.
Right?
Yes.
They, in my opinion, are still being seen as full, coming from the rural areas and things.
And that could work. So.
When government changed and you took over, you went back to the big buses.
Oh.
And you said it was rubbish I was doing.
Oh.
Well, the guys who were doing it didn't believe it was rubbish, but it didn't work the way we sit down and work it around the table.
Was it only a political decision, you think? Or was there a different logic, a better suggestion? I don't know.
Well, look at what is happening now.
Well, what is happening now is...
If a change of government comes, they couldn't continue with that.
No, but then what has happened now is that every man jack can get a license to drive a PPV, a red plate.
Well,
and half of the other people who drive it don't need a red plate at all and just do it anyway. And there's a good piece of investigative journalism that's out, I saw, from 18 Degrees North, that company, Zara Burton, who's asking and has been refused the names of the people who own the taxis, who own these public passenger vehicles, legal or not, because we should only get the legal ones, and Transport Authority says it to give it to her, to give it to the public, to name the people who are owners would breach privacy. That is foolishness.
Well, I am not sure that it is foolish, but I'm not sure that it is sensible either.
You are marvelous.
No, but you see, you put me in a position where if I say yes, you ask me about this. Because the truth is, though, Ronnie, look at it. People need to go to work, go to school,
Undeniable,
go home.
sir.
People need transportation.
Of course.
The big buses don't have
the flexibility, the nimbleness.
The capacity in the road to participate in transportation.
Okay.
Okay. So it needs taxis and private cars.
Right.
We are not going to be able to find enough roads in Kingston. Let's take Kingston alone. Because the only place that left was one that I sat and considered one time whether or not the Sandy Gully could be transported to a main road.
No, look at this.
Whether we lift
listeners,
it halfway or not.
Listen,
we'd have a 5.
I agree. Once you have a paved paved surface, and it's not otherwise used for flowing water or for whatever else, but that's what it's for.
It would get the garbage out the place.
Yes.
And when the rain's coming, you just close it like you do Bog
Flatbridge.
Right? Now the next thing I got somebody to do an overhead survey of Kingston.
Yeah.
What do you call it? No,
the drone.
What they drew are the plane taking a picture.
Okay, good.
Kingston was never a planned city.
Uptown.
Uptown.
Downtown
No,
was well done. Mm-hmm.
So therefore, there are some houses that the government could buy, some businesses, and get additional roads.
Oh.
Some roads just go halfway and stop,
Oh.
Right? They're more...
Uh-huh. But where is the energy to do any of that now, sir? This is what I'm saying.
I tell you where the energy is.
Yeah.
If you wait a few more months, when the buses can't drive out,
Right.
and come to Parliament and ask for extra money because the petrol gone,
Yes.
and the workers have to be paid, and the buses are there. I say, hold on now. But we don't need those buses, so we'll save the petrol.
But nobody's going to say that. Every time, the pattern so far is that every time the Minister of Finance comes to take more money for a bankrupt bus company, which is giving away its own custom, and where its own fare box is being pillaged by the thieving of petrol, by dishonesty all around. Yes, the public simply breathes a sigh of relief, chops their teeth, and gives the money. What a set of stupid people we are.
Well, there's another little way,
What's another little way?
That's one if it could work.
Oh, no.
The amount of vehicles we now have. Let's take Terrace 1, a big street that have nearly about 10 or 15 homes. And most of them work civil servants. They go almost the same place.
Right.
And they have 2 cars in each. So you're talking about 25 or so cars. And that street alone. And why would somebody not say, look here, why are we putting 25 cars on this street alone when we can drive 10 cars, carry everybody to work, save petrol,
but then you see,
save this.
Okay, I got your point, and I'm with you.
I said it to my name, Mr. Charles, how many cars you have at your yard?
Well, this is it, because you're going now to a deeper question about the issue of discipline. Because one of the reasons why the system that you devised when you were minister didn't work was because people were indisciplined and wouldn't stay within the quadrant and the routes that they were supposed to be. And don't talk about sanctions, because wholly for that is compromised. Okay. Now, the truth is that we as a people, we need to decide and be convinced and cooperative about a rational system of public transportation, which is going to achieve what? Getting us where we need to go, providing within reasonable time, 2, providing respite for school children and pensioners, yes, and the disabled, and be willing to enforce that system. You cannot do that within the existing political structure, and neither the government that you, representing the party that you're a member of, or the one that I am, yes, has that vision of how to do it. And therefore, what are we doing? Wasting foreign exchange and testing Mr. Charles's patience and his gas bill by making it take more than an hour for him to come from Red Hills to Kingsway.
I am not sure that we don't have we don't see it. Because I remember, less than 2 years ago, the road from Barbican, Constant Spring.
Oh, that's the capital projects.
It captured in 3 months.
Yeah.
Cars full it up.
Full it up again.
So when the Prime Minister opened up and said, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we have done. You are now able to save production time. And somebody said, but
events
boss,
overtook him.
You haven't gone down to Marcus Garvey Drive.
No.
There are thousands of cars lying out there, and there's more money agents calling you. You don't want a car? 100% loan.
Exactly, sir. So
that's funny.
So this is
100%
but
loan.
at the end of 20 for Peace of Lion, at the end of 2022, Jamaicans simply have to get serious about our business. And telling me that the economy grew by 5%, I'm so happy. Telling me that you're going to build another road, I'm equally happy if you can pay for it. But at the end of the day, we are continuing and inculcating a system that simply takes us nowhere.
Let me show that I'm preparing to come and argue with you and do what I want to prepare, because you're a bad man when it comes to that.
You're a bad man.
Ronnie, we have too many agencies acting as government in Jamaica.
What do you mean?
We have the print media. We have the electronic media.
Yes.
we
You and
have
me.
the PNP,
Uh-huh.
the JLP,
Right.
the private sector.
Right.
How many other? You know any?
Well, churches try.
Churches.
Lodge and business organizations, private sector.
But what I am trying to say, you don't have any of these agencies
Right.
dominating enough to say this is it.
But isn't that what leadership is supposed to do?
Now you see, Randy, you look at my notes.
All the time.
Now,
But leadership just
Lead-
quarrel with the next man.
yeah, but Ronnie, the leadership that we have today, there are so many alternate leaders. Some don't have the responsibility, have never faced the public. In other words, you and I
Yeah.
went to the people and said, this is what I want to do for you.
Yeah.
Elect me.
Yeah.
They don't have to do that. They just come out and say, you know, so that's Ronnie and Charles wrong.
Yeah.
Deal with me.
Okay.
And they have no choice but they go home and me, I go sleep. And then me and you have to be out there night and day
Yeah, but you
taking the batter in.
But this sounds like an apologia. You mustn't do that.
Eh?
You can't. That we chose that, and I agree with you that people pontificate from a position of their own remove and safety,
Yeah.
without concern for the common good. But we have a government, and this government is good to tell us how correct they are. And at the same time, the people, we're suffering a deficit of trust.
You heard, as I said a while ago when I started,
What?
we have too many agents in Jamaica that are acting as, are strong as, are dominant as government.
Well, that's a.
And it is, we have just
Some would say-
many governments.
Some would say that is defense and safety from prevents us from going arbitrary. Take an instance this week that's worrying me. The government imposes a state of emergency,
Yes.
and then has the embarrassment of having to withdraw and then table again the regulations after the fact of the state of emergency. Two of the most eminent lawyers in this country, constitutional lawyers, Dr. Barnett and Mr. Hilton, yes, give a viewpoint on it. And the Minister of Legal Affairs gets
Yes.
up and says they're wrong.
Yes.
If I were the government and if I'm the people of Jamaica, me would have listened to Barnett and Hilton.
Well, let me tell you something. When your government was in power,
Yes, sir.
it took months or weeks
Yes.
after state of emergency to have anything like a committee set up to try us.
So me say wrong.
No, no.
Me say wrong. So
Yes, I shouldn't say that to you now because you have already declared your hand
Yeah.
that when it is wrong, it is
When it's
wrong.
wrong.
Yeah, but hold on.
Same thing happened when Horace Chang was in Montego Bay for the last time. It was weeks, months after that the committee to review people after they get locked up. And you want us to make that into settled law now?
Yeah, but let me ask you.
Have mercy.
Let me ask you. What does that mean? What you need that for?
To need what? To protect to protect the constitutional rights of the people, and to make sure that you punish the guilty and you liberate the innocent.
No. Give us a better teacher. Some of us not so bright. I hear a man just said, Mr. Explain to me, what is it that the Minister of, Mrs. Ford, what is it that she said is not correct from Dr. Barnett, whoever he is? What she says is not correct. And is she wrong, in your opinion?
In my view, she is wrong.
She is wrong.
Yes, and I
Explain to me, because
by their views.
when
My
she
view
said
is,
it to me,
if you put in a state of emergency, you are
Yes.
obliged at the very same time and contingent one on the other to have the regulations in place. Otherwise, those who do not, those who administer the state of emergency have a free for all.
a man said to me a while ago, he just called me. What is this regulation, Mr. Thwaites? Tell us what is this regulation?
It's a whole
Consistent.
series of things, but has to do with the permissible activities of the security forces in relation to you, me, the criminal, the innocent, the victim, everybody.
So every state of emergency is different from the last state of emergency that you had regulations?
I don't think it may or may not be. And in this case, it probably is, because there have been some serious constitutional challenges about previous regulations.
Yes.
And therefore, it is important that the promise be kept, that this time round, those things are going to be corrected. And those are not minor matters. Those are not incidental matters. Just do it right the first time. Your friend, the PSOJ, tell you to do that. They tell you they're embarrassed that our government mix up the thing. Just do it right the first time, because it goes to the point you were making, sir, that we have listen to people who know now, whether them defend you or whether they defend the next party. If them have sense, heed them now. Who know more about Constitution than Barnett and Hilton?
Well, so
listen to them.
No, hold on a minute. With the greatest of respect for Dr. Barnett and whoever is. Yeah. There are some other lawyers like yourself and others. No.
Okay.
You study the same law?
No.
And some of us who are not lawyers.
It's not a personality thing, you know.
In this instance, it becomes personal.
Well, because
I don't think they should have called the two lawyers' name, because I think they did it on behalf of the bar. They did it on behalf of you. And
so what you do is, so isn't it better, sir, whether or not that, I would agree with you, but isn't it better that what you do is meet with them and say, listen, now, we have this problem to work out. Come help me now. I know we throw away Jamaican.
No, or isn't it better, because there are people, if it is pointed out to you that this is wrong, you must have people who can correct it. But let me ask you, what would that have done to those people who have been taken in a state of emergency in the 2 or 3 weeks?
Well, what it would have done would be to affect the kind of the terms of their custody.
The man is just saying, no, understand.
Yeah, whether them should have stay in custody or whether them should have come out. That it affects that.
You know, when the police come to to gate 2 and say them want Charles. And they said, Charles, come out here. They said, Charles, we have information that you are involved in this.
Not so it go all the same, though.
Eh?
Not so it go all the same. You know that. Anyway.
Hold on. That's how it went the last time. The man knock on my gate.
On your gate, because you are a big man, and they've talked decent to you. When it is in North Clarendon or Central Kingston, it's not that.
Then pick him up off the road or anywhere, but they pick him up somewhere.
Yeah, man, pick him up and you lock you up, and you don't know, like Pearnel Charles, you never know what you get locked up for. You never know when you're going to come out. You never know which court you're going to go before. Them tell you your family can't see you. You can't get food. You can't. Who name lawyer? That arbitrariness, sir, is what is curbed by regulations and by law. Okay. And when any element of that is missing, you are wrong. You are being contemptuous of regulation and law, no matter how much Queen's Counsel you say you is.
Okay. I am not going to disagree with you on this point.
Disagree with that, man.
I wish I could. But in honesty, the way it is presented, and I tell you why. Yeah. Tell you why. Because I've gone through it, Ronnie.
Yes, man.
I've gone through it.
Yes, man.
The man come and tell me, well, let me tell you, give you a little photographic view of it.
30 seconds.
I was picked up, taken to Halfway Tree. Yeah. Don't know why. And when they took me to the cell and opened it, men were falling out because it was overfull.
Yes, sir.
So they say I must go in and they take the iron and push me in. So I had standing room
only.
Right? And I was standing in water, which could have, there was no pipe. Right? You know what water
I know that.
And a little corporal who was watchman, and him dead, so they can't trouble him now. He said, Mr. Charles, as soon as I'm gone, I will take you out. And you can stand here, but we come for push you back. Ronnie.
See that, no? But that.
So they put me in the corner, right?
Yes, sir.
And you know, just look at 2 walls joined.
Yeah.
And so you put your head in the crevice. And you stand up. I stand up and sleep for about 2 hours.
Yes. And
now,
You had a little corporal to help you. Natty Dread down the bottom don't have that. And that is to be made settled law. That is how we're going to keep people.
No.
And that is how we're going to justify our fight against crime and think that we're going to get socially harmonious people out of that. And that we're going to protect victims and recompense them for their crime.
Take it easy here.
No, man.
My wife is just going to say, you must be careful of your heart attack. Don't make it bother you to
the
that
lady
point.
inside, it bothers me.
The point is, there is a rule.
Yeah.
If you pick up the man, there must be a rule on which you can keep him or send him out.
Same rule.
And this is what is missing.
Well,
and it must come in.
And then when people like Dr. Barnett and Mr. Hilton insist that the laws that are time honored in that regard and should have protected you and protect the rest of us, somebody come on and tell him I know so. Without questioning, you have people being we're supposed to be net fishing, that is, or spear fishing for the violence producers. Prime Minister, I forgot to America to identify some of them. You have a man in prison now, at least one and more, who are doing big business behind bars, and the officials know it and are part of it. Yes?
But this thing can't help that.
Well, I'm broadening it. I'm talking about the whole texture of national security.
Yeah.
More on that and more on the public service regulations and salary advances with Julian Robinson when we return. This is The Public Eye on the Bridge 99. This is a fascinating station, it's a fascinating program. The Bridge 99, linking Jamaican lovers all over the world. The program, The Public Eye, with the Honorable Pearnel Charles, Senior, OJ, and myself. Julian Robinson, welcome. Join the fray.
Hi, Ronnie. Hi, Pearnel. How are you both doing?
We're both well, thank you.
Morning, sir. Morning.
I speak for both of us.
Sorry.
Afternoon by now.
Yeah.
Good. Julian Robinson, the government has inked a new wage agreement with the public service. You are the opposition spokesman on finance and the public service. Have you seen the full text of the agreement between the public sector unions and the state of Jamaica, meaning the people of Jamaica, who will pay for what?
No, that's one of the. Let me start off by saying, in principle, we support what the government is doing. We had a very complicated compensation system with over 300 scales. This is attempting to bring it down to about 60, which would make it a lot more efficient, a lot simpler. So we support the principle of what is being done. But I've been very uncomfortable from the start with the lack of transparency in terms of the specifics that are being done. Up to last week in Parliament, when I asked the Minister to provide specifics, he said he doesn't want to do so. He wants to wait until the process is completed. The problem with it is that not just for me as a public servant, but for thousands of public servants, they do not know the details of what will happen to them. So people are going to be paid on December 20th, which is in exactly a week. And the majority of them don't know what they're going to get. In addition to the issue of...
Let me disturb you a minute to ask you to explain to me, as a trade unionist. Every one of those workers have representative in the Ministry of Finance doing the negotiation on their behalf and is expected to report to their bodies, whether it is in anyone. They have that authority. They cannot settle unless they get a go-ahead from the workers. So why would you want them to be told, you to tell them, to tell you their business?
Well, I think we should know because we're paying it.
No, the issue, hold on, let me just say. The issue is not to tell me their business. This issue is a public issue. It's a public issue because billions of Jamaican dollars of taxpayers' money are going to be used to settle this arrangement. So it's not a private arrangement between just the unions and the Ministry of Finance.
This is an
arrangement that everybody should know.
But you're not suggesting?
This is not a free thing.
No.
This has been happening for the past 100 years.
No, but what are you saying?
Man has to settle.
This is the first time we are doing a comprehensive public sector compensation review. First time ever. Yeah, but you're not just agitating for an increase in salary. Entire scales are being abolished, new scales are being put in, and I'm saying none of those details are known to the general public.
Yeah, but
and I have an issue with that.
Yeah, but I am saying to you, if it was the time when I represent any part of the public service, water commission, this, that, I wouldn't expect the government to come and tell you what my negotiation is until it is finished, and I advise my workers.
No, but the money is being paid next week.
The money is being paid.
The money is
next
not being
week.
paid free.
The money
I
is
am
being paid.
working.
No, but if,
It's my job.
No, but
I work and I must be paid.
no question.
You're missing the point. The money is being paid next week, Wednesday, 1 week from now. And I'm saying right now, on the 13th of December, the majority of people do not know what they will get next week, Wednesday. They don't know.
All right. So are they uncomfortable about it?
Yes, look at the front page of the Gleaner this morning. Look at the front page.
Are they
uncomfortable?
Well,
but I want to ask.
Their representative, you should bring the leaders of the unions to board for them to tell what is the package they have gotten for the members.
Yeah, they're saying that.
Listen, on Monday, if you've been following it, you remember on Monday, the GSASA put out a statement saying they didn't know about recovering these retroactive sums. That was Monday. Late Monday evening, something else came out that they have increased the 17.5% to 20%.
What does that mean?
Now,
Negotiation.
all right, what the government has said is that they are guaranteeing every public sector worker over a 3-year period a 20% increase in your salary. That's what it means. Now, the issue you have, for example, particularly for traveling officers, where many of them get allowances, which in some cases may exceed their basic salary, they are going to recover those amounts from April to November and net it off against the increase they're supposed to get. Some of them may end up in the negative. Some of them may end up with little or nothing. Now, the government has said they will address all of those anomalies. The problem is people don't know specifically how those things are going to be addressed, which is why there's so much apprehension right now.
I understand that, but explain to me two things now. Isn't that recovery of the allowances that have been paid since April, isn't that supposed to be covered by the additional 2.5%, or is that just
It should be, but you may have some officers, and as I said, particular traveling officers, where their allowances are significant, and it may not cover it. Now, what the government is saying, in those cases, they will do something to ensure that nobody is in the negative.
Okay.
The point is, people don't know, as of a week away, what exactly that means for them.
So, help me again. Well, that would create a lot of uncertainty for Christmas budgeting for anything.
No union running. No union that values our work, its payment from workers, could tell me that they are satisfied with the negotiation, it is going to be paid, and them don't know what they're getting.
Well, but
that is
absolute rubbish.
Why do the customs officers say what they do?
Look at what is in the paper today.
Hold on. There are several agencies. There may be, I don't know if it's 20 or 30 or 40 of them.
No, but before you sign for me, I must know.
Yeah, okay.
But that is not the case.
Yeah, but Ronnie, I'm simply saying that in the bunch of all of this, you may have a few that you have to single out to do negotiations.
Okay, I don't think that's the concern. That's the position with the public service now. But I'd like to understand something more. Julian, a vexed issue has been the provision of duty-free car allowances, duty-free cars for a number of civil servants, teachers, other people. We understood that this was likely to be curtailed. Are we clear which allowances are going and which allowances may stay?
No. Well, on that specific one, the minister said for now it would remain.
Okay.
I don't know how long that will be.
So people will.
But he said for now.
Traveling officers, vice principals of schools, guidance counselors, etc., can continue to get their allowance of a duty-free motor vehicle. Yeah. So that all allowances are not going. Some are going.
Some are going, okay. But not. But this specific one, I think the original plan was to remove it, but there was a lot of pushback. So they said they would hold it for now and review it at a later stage.
Okay, let me ask another question, Pearnel. This one.
What he's calling pushback, Ronnie, is negotiation.
Good.
Follow me? There are a lot of adjustments made around the table between the union representatives, the workers' representative. So I am not sure that anybody has
sir.
any authority.
No. If I am paying the bill, Mr. Charles, I have to know is what I am paying
Of
for.
course, you must know it's a public interest.
who?
It's not
The
a-
taxpayer.
But the workers are
the
taxpayer too.
No, yeah, but the taxpayers are
The
not.
issue of transparency.
One minute.
Yeah,
You're
they-
taking up billions of dollars to do this, and you're going to the public don't have a right to know?
If
Okay,
I
no,
were
no.
on the table, no government could go out and tell you what my negotiation
Why?
is before it is settled.
No, they have settled
it.
I wouldn't
settle.
No, they have settled it. They're getting the money next week.
If once it is settled, it has to be
70%.
published.
Well, okay.
No,
well,
but-
And the union must publish it, not necessarily the manager. The union, I would go out, not necessarily Mr. Thwaites as manager of the estate is going to say,
Whoever, you
I
know-
am going to come
Right
out and
now-
say what my settlement
Right
is.
now,
But you don't mind?
70% of the public sector, represented by a union,
Yeah.
have signed this arrangement.
Yeah.
70%.
yeah.
Right?
So-
So it's
yeah.
not that nobody has agreed. Of course, people have agreed, which is why people are being paid next week.
Yeah.
And I believe the government has a responsibility at this stage to let the taxpayers know what the details are.
But let me
And I don't
understand.
think that's an unreasonable request.
It isn't. Let me understand something else. The promise has been that over the next 3 years, there will be a 20% increase in my pay.
Minimum.
Net pay. Minimum 20%.
Yeah,
So that
some people will be higher.
would be
yeah.
okay, minimum or average.
He has said minimum.
Okay, because that
Some
would
people will end up with significantly bigger increases.
okay. That would be if on a crude long division. That would be about 6.5% each year.
Correct. But
Okay.
As I say, it is minimum.
Okay. Well, but taking that as the only foundation we have, that is considerably lower than the rate of inflation.
Correct.
So, I mean, I am asking. I'm no longer a public servant, but I'm asking if you're asking me to agree to an arrangement where I'm going to get something a net rate of pay, which at minimum is less than the rate of inflation is now and is projected to be. What is the benefit of that for me, Mr. Robinson, Mr. Charles?
The benefit, let me tell you first, that is why you have union. That is why you have leaders. When I join a union and pay my dues, you must go to the bargaining table and bargain on my behalf.
But they've settled at this, sir. They've
So
agreed
you-
with it.
so hold on.
But the workers, what the point I'm making, sir,
Yeah.
is not about unions or otherwise. My point is that the way it seemed to me is that the workers, I have two problems. The workers are likely, on the basis of that minimum, yes, to be getting less than inflation.
But you should negotiate on their behalf
Wait,
then.
but they're a failure. The unions have lost their balls in this country.
No.
They have.
No,
and therefore,
disagree with
the
that.
workers.
I'm talking to one of the-
Hello, sir. The workers have lost. The workers are likely to come out worse than before. And secondly, point Julian, Pearnel, and I have been agreeing on over time, this whole wage reorganization and improvement has no bearing on productivity.
Not only that,
Well,
What-
it
what you say,
doesn't,
Mr.
and I
Mr.
believe that
Robinson?
going forward,
Uh-huh.
given that there are going to be some levels that will get significant increases, that there has to be performance-based assessments and evaluations done, and
Oh.
that people have to be held. I am saying this, that there must be. If people are going to get, some cases, 100% increase in salaries, then they must be held to a
No,
certain
but if you
standard in
don't,
terms of
if
the
that is
performance.
not, if targets for improved productivity are not concomitant and indeed part of the wage negotiation, gentlemen, it will not happen.
well,
And the
well,
public of Jamaica will end up, as they have done several times in the past, and acknowledge it under both administrations, paying more and getting either no more or less.
let me add one thing, Julian. And let me cool my head and add one thing. I think that this negotiation between the government and the civil servants is one of the best that I have seen for a long time.
But you haven't
Hold
seen
on,
it.
let me say what I mean by that.
Okay.
No disruption, no strike, no this, and the workers are quiet, which means they are satisfied with the leadership that they have put around the table and what they have come back to them with. If they are not satisfied, they couldn't sign, they couldn't accept. So when the Minister of Finance come to Parliament and said to Julian, we have reached this agreement it means that that agreement was reached around the table. Whichever way it was put, it was accepted, or else they could not say it. You'd have the workers on the street saying no.
So is Pearnel correct, Julian?
All I would tell you, and I can't say my information is scientific, there is a lot of anxiety, even among workers whose unions have signed. If you, as I said, the JCSA, who signed probably a month ago, came out with a statement Monday because there were things they didn't know about. They didn't know that the allowances which were already paid were going to be recovered. They didn't know that. They said that in a release. And that has brought a lot of anxiety. So while you may not have any protests on the road, I can tell you people are anxious because they don't know what their net fee going to be next week, Wednesday, when they get it.
Help me now. Is as far as you know, without having seen the full thing, is there any benefit for pensioners, for government pensioners?
I haven't heard anything in relation to that.
But Ronnie,
so if
you and I will have to get to the bargaining table.
No, that is Pearnel, you know that won't happen.
But pensioners are not in this negotiation.
Why?
Yeah, I don't know that they are running.
These are workers who are at the job.
Yes.
And they have a union at the bargaining table.
Pensioners are not
salary.
Pensioners who have given long service to the government. How long you been? 40 years, Mr. Charles. Forget me.
Come more than that.
Yes. You are expected to just suck up inflation.
No. That is a parliamentary. It is a political decision.
No.
That's not around the table bargaining.
Why?
No, pension doesn't bargain around the table.
So they must just starve.
No.
They must just starve them.
Well, as it is now. Who decide what your pension is? Parliament.
Your pension is related to your finishing salary.
Yes.
And it seems to me to be a reasonable question that if the salaries are being altered, yes, that there should be some consideration for those who are in a position where they have no bargaining power. They are not members of any union. Yes, but they are in fact beholden for their service, especially when the workers are getting the additional pay without any index of productivity at all.
And then you have Mr. Robinson, who you are now saying, Rob, since you are looking, you have to vote because you want to return to Parliament. You need to take a resolution to Parliament, as Rani would have done, to say to the Minister of Finance,
futility.
In your new negotiation,
yes.
There are people who have been out there a long time, getting a pension, they can't buy food, they can't do this. We are asking for an increase in pension for them. That's a parliamentary business.
Okay. Well,
Ronnie,
Julian, we won't pause on that. Did the minister promise that at some stage in the future there would be this full disclosure?
He said at the end of the negotiations, which could.
Well, we
don't know when that end point is.
Well, this morning,
haven't signed.
Yeah, he said
haven't signed.
By the end of the financial year, which would be the end of next March.
He wants to pay it by the end of next month because he doesn't want it to carry over. So hopefully by the end of next month. I don't find that satisfactory, but he has been insistent on it. I'm not budging.
Okay. I want to use just 2 more minutes, please, to discuss the issue of productivity with you. This is a chronic problem for Jamaica. Our curve of total factor productivity, as you well know, is going down, while our costs of doing business and are going up. How can that change?
I think you have to continue to invest in training, education, and certification. We are primarily a low-wage economy with some exceptions. And the only way we can lift productivity is to improve the skill set of the people who are doing the work. Right? Now, some of that productivity may become automated because you may need less human interaction and more machine or technology. So that's also a risk in terms of the impact on employment. But ultimately, the transition from a low-wage economy, there's no simple solution beyond the investment in training and education.
Do you see that taking place with either at all or with the alacrity required for us to recover?
Not the alacrity. It is, but it needs a particular focus, and it needs a focus and a particular energy.
Last question.
Mr. Robinson, 1 minute. I have been advised recently that much of this restructuring and reorganization, if it's different from restructuring, has not been, it's not just a Jamaica government situation. Huh? You understand what I'm saying?
No.
If you're borrowing money from abroad,
no.
you're going, when the IMF was there,
Fancy that. If abroad, people who lend us money have to tell us what to do.
well, me not going to lend you my money. I'm not going to lend you my money if you're going to be paying
so what?
500 workers when only 300 workers are producing as Ronnie and Pearnel is balling out for.
So what is the future?
The next thing they're going to say, listen, we have too many workers.
No, but I
doing too little jobs.
No, but I have said that part of improving productivity may mean less jobs because you're going to automate some of them. But the reality, if you want to lift productivity in the country, you have to improve the skill set of the man who may have been doing the manual labor may go operate the machine now or the computer.
Okay.
Yes, man.
Well,
but that's
listen, let's not go on like we are foreigners.
Well,
Some of these agencies are over full with workers and under production. They're not producing to match the salary that you and I are paying out of our salary to them.
Julian, when last did we have a discussion on productivity, improving productivity in Parliament?
Good little while. It's something that need a particular focus.
Yeah.
Good little while.
I really
but
think
it's something we have to deal with because, we have had growth in this year, recovery from COVID.
The growth is from a very low base.
From a very low base.
Very low base, so I can't get excited about that.
The only way to deal with it is to ensure that you address the productivity issue. Only way.
Yes.
I look forward to your resolution because you are now in the Ministry of Finance. You're possibly going to be the man that it drop in your hand in a few weeks, and Ronnie and Michelle will be here remembering that you say production is important to you. Base quantity of workers producing is important to you, and salary is important to you.
Julian, thanks so much for today.
Thanks,
we hope
man.
you keep
Take
pressing.
care.
All the best.
Yeah, man.
Good.
Thank
Julian
you.
Robinson, Opposition Spokesman on Finance and the Public Service and Member of Parliament for South East St. Andrew. We are going to get nothing out of this.
Out of what?
Out of this whole reorganization.
Hold on, Ronnie. Get back to the word you made a while ago.
What's that?
I say you read my paper.
Mm-hmm.
Leadership is not only the Minister of Finance, is not only the Permanent Secretary.
Is who?
Leadership is in sectors of the whole thing. You have some supervisors.
Of the whole thing?
You have this.
But where are we educating these people? Where are we reorienting their whole focus?
Well, that's part of the education, part of the restructuring that you have to do.
But sir, that is not happening. What is happening is that the government is negotiating. They will come up with some agreement, no doubt, of whenever they choose to tell us what it is, and we will have to pay it whatever it is. Yes, and at the end of the day, life will go on. A triumph will be declared. Victory. See how we do it? No strike, and the workers will chop their teeth because the money that they get will not be able to keep pace with inflation. Who can go? Who stay? Draw them foot. Some who are blessed people will continue to give their.
So why do you give the government praise to say, "See, we finished no strike," and you don't give the worker some praise to say you have settled with the government without striking?
They have no alternative. The government, the workers have no alternative. Why, yes, sir. Right
they
now,
always have alternative.
Right now, the public servants are such on a knife edge of credit and of financial instability that their attitude is, boy, I just want to take something. Begging forget the little retroactive, whatever it turn out to be. But if you think they see it as some sort of great settlement that will drive the country,
it's not going to increase production.
No, sir, it's not. On that sad note, we end this section of the Public Eye and the Open Mind on the Bridge 99. We'll be back with the Global Connection and Erwin Clare and Ari Jam and much more for you after the break. It's Wednesday in cool Jamaica, congested Jamaica, but cool Christmas breeze a blow. We're glad for that. This is the Bridge 99. It's a Public Eye. I'm Ronnie Thwaites. The Honorable Pearnel Charles is with me. And Erwin Clare of Arijam in New York is our favored guest and compatriot. Erwin, hello. How are you?
I am very cold, but I'm well.
Why are you cold and the sun is so hot in your little house down at St. Ann?
Well, but that's because I am not there. But you know, what can I say? We have to do some things in these foreign lands to ensure that we are okay when we come to Jamaica, and make sure that we can, whatever we do here, we can also help our brothers and sisters. So somebody has to make the sacrifice.
That's good. I wish it were otherwise, but that is a fact, the fact of life. Eh?
To me, it's not a sacrifice; it's a requirement.
Oh, okay, boy, I tell you.
He started off rough today, Ronnie.
The pressures of exile. Who was that? George Lamming or Samuel Salvan? I can't remember. Anyway, listen.
Yes.
Irwin Clare, we're concerned with watching events in the United States, and particularly as they relate to the Caribbean community, and one particular aspect, the question of immigration.
Yes, indeed. Indeed.
What is the position of people like yourself, of strong members and leaders of the Caribbean community? Do you believe that immigration rules can stay as they are, that things should be made easier or should be made tighter?
Ronnie, I've been in this whole aspect of immigration for many years.
Yeah, man.
I remain hopeful.
Hopeful of what?
Hopeful that I have to remain hopeful for those who are looking to us for change. And the reason I say that, we have to continue our lobbying and advocacy for the changes we demand. We demand, yes. And yes, I believe that there is a resolve. We find ourselves, because immigration is a wedge issue. It is used for political purposes and to push political positions. Right now, the temperature for immigration reform is just not there. When we consider that it will require the House to significantly step up, and of course 60 senators to do the same, whereas there are bipartisan bills being put forth, which means members of both parties, it has not yet gotten to that point. When we can see that our kids who have been brought here without their permission or underage can't get, darker kids can't get reform at this point, it tells you just how dire the situation is.
Well, 2 years ago, we thought that the ascent of a democratic administration to the presidency would make that difference. The Democrats have had a majority in both houses of Congress now for 2 years. That is changing, but still they have considerable interest. But I don't see this happening. While as I understand it, the economy of the United States and the labor market, in fact, require more immigrants, more people to come in and offer labor to revive the economy.
Without a doubt, but let's understand this though, that although the Democrats may have both sides of the House, they do not have the membership. It still requires the participation of the Republicans. And let's also put some things in perspective. Yes, there has been some easing of the tension on immigration, because let's not forget, during the Trump years, ICE was fully funded than any other aspect of immigration in the USCIS, which meant that their emphasis was on enforcement. That has been reduced. So people are not necessarily walking around and wondering if they're going to be picked up today, as was the case just 4 years ago.
Sure.
And also we've seen where the processing of immigration benefits have improved tremendously. The backlogs are being cleared.
That's true.
If 4 years ago, immigration benefits did not delayed, was democracy denied. People were paying and not getting services. That is not the case today. So there has been some easing off on the tension there. But is it enough? No, not for those who have been in the system for quite a while.
Erwin, let me quickly ask you a question.
Sure. Go ahead, Pearnel.
Are we still feeling that immigration to the United States is a threat to those whose forefathers were also immigrants to the United States?
To white people.
We should put some brown people in that too, Ronnie, because there are certain aspects in the, especially Hispanic community, who have now inserted themselves in society would now not necessarily be as aggressive on that front. The point here is that
you mean they switch? They switch against their own selves.
Comfort.
Yes.
Yeah. Comfort. And they see the new generation coming in a threat, because the new generation is coming with a different feeling
But basically, they're coming with the same type of interest to better themselves. And we have seen the value that immigration has added to this country. And the commerce departments across the Chamber of Commerces across the United States will tell you that. But there's also a strong force in the United States that's anti-immigrant and will do everything to block it.
But hear me now. Whichever way you stand, however liberal your opinions are, you cannot have a situation where the southwestern border of the United States is simply a highway for passage, a walk
Agreed.
So what is going to be done?
Well, and
what is possible?
And therein lies the whole situation where all hands on deck is going to have to deal with it, because now that becomes not only a threat to the nation, but also to how we deal with people in a civil manner. And at the same token too, there are those who will say the immigrants coming from many of these countries are saying they're running persecution or economic challenges, which the United States has contributions to that as well.
In Claire, that's probably true. But let me tell you, when we look and see what is happening in Haiti now, what is reported, yes, there's going to be a massive continuing flow of people who are trying to escape from there.
Oh yeah.
And of all kinds of people, maybe not people who fit the bill for honest migration. I have to tell you, of a different level, the numbers before the American embassy in Kingston have tripled
oh, yeah.
in the last 6 months.
By Jamaicans or others.
By Jamaicans.
And I'll also share this with you too. And there was a time when if you say that somebody is calling you to say they need help or their family member came through the border, you'd say, no, you're kidding. But those calls are coming more and more often these days.
Look at that.
Of Jamaicans and Caribbean nationals being part of those border passages.
Yeah.
That is frightening.
Yeah. So
they're searching for a better life, Ronnie.
They're searching for a better life.
And if they could get it here, they would be very comfortable.
So therefore, it's an indictment on leadership, on society there.
So when Mr. Holness goes to America, and you all big him up over there and tell him, yes, granted, national security is part of creating a society of comity and peace where people don't need to run away from. But at the same time, we need a serious discussion as to why so many Jamaicans, let's concentrate on our people, are migrating, even to the point where they
don't have to go very far, Ronnie. You don't have to go very far. So, the economics of the master of all immigration from Jamaica. So people want a better life, better education, better jobs.
Can we structure it better? Can we increase what you were a part and parcel and a good leader of, Mr. Charles, where you have a number of work programs that people go and earn and come back? Can we, is there some things in the next 15, 20 years that we will not continue to leach our youngest, our best trained, and our best to the United States?
Depends on the American economy and the Canadian economy. Because the more people we send, 10 or 15 or 20,000 Jamaicans up there for 6 months, it increases their economy and I get a chance to employ more Jamaicans. And of course,
but gentlemen, what is that saying about our nation, though? Because at the same token, we are considered the poster child of coming out of COVID in this whole economic situation. That has been the positive spin being placed on Jamaica's economy. So it's almost like a mixed message here. We're doing well economically, but hold on, who's doing well? If you're saying the numbers are increased at the embassy, people are coming through the border, what is that saying?
What is saying that it's a highly skewed and unequal situation.
No. I think you all get it wrong.
Oh?
The investment is where it is short. If you don't have more investment in Jamaica,
but we're being told
you will not have more jobs.
Right.
You will not get more jobs to get more money to build more homes, send more children to school. The basis is investment in Jamaica. Foreign investment is where are we now?
No, but we have plenty local money, you know. We're spending $80 billion a year on gambling alone. That's no investment. That is money that could be used for that. We are spending money on paying public servants without any reference to productivity.
You know,
that is not investment.
Anytime you come to me with that
We're spending on public
sanctimonious
service.
religious
It's not sanctimonious.
approach. Our people are not like that.
Wait, what, they are like what then? Something wrong with them?
Ronnie, something wrong with us who say, listen, you hear, say, you can't find a man to work now.
Yeah.
Why you can't find a man to work now? Because I'm not working for what you want to pay.
Okay, sir.
You
So
want $5,000 a day,
I don't-
not 3. So you look what you can. You say, what we do, our employment is down because man
outside
no
the
one
labor
now
force.
work for that.
he's outside the labor force, but that's not solving the problem. That's just
All right.
adding to it.
Indeed. Well, listen, gentlemen, we're just about on a global break. But before we go, today is also the anniversary, 2-year anniversary. Sandra Lindsay, nurse Sandra Lindsay of Jamaica,
Oh,
if you may
yes.
recall, took the first vaccine.
Isn't that so?
Yes, today's the first anniversary. So we're going to take a break now, gentlemen. When we come back, we'll continue the dialogue.
And we have some guests coming up. So where does the Christmas season find the American polity, and particularly its strong Caribbean element?
Well, we are, I gather, we want more sorrel. We want more rum.
Hear that, Mr. Charles?
We want more roast breadfruit. Are you guys making notes, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. I mean, by now we'd have sent down the barrels, because if we don't send the barrel from now, you guys not going to get them on
For
time.
Christmas, no.
Yeah. And I hope they're clearing them on the wharf, because there are a lot of people complaining about that.
Yeah.
So I hope that is being rectified.
Hey, and
But
stop
ser-
it.
I know. Yeah, what's about the complaint?
No,
Yeah.
this year you haven't heard that. But you
Okay.
must stop the arms house business
Oh.
of try to put
Yes.
gun in and shot
Yes.
inside the Frigidaire or the car engine. You know?
I agree with you. And what I want Jamaica to tell us to, who doing it?
Well, this Mr. what's his name?
Who doing it?
This gentleman, Mr. Anderson, who I used to have admiration for. He says he has communicated 30 violence producers in the United States to the U.S. government. So we want to hear no. We want extradition in reverse.
Okay, and that is their prerogative. But my question is this:
Yeah.
if we keep hearing that we're sending those things in barrels,
Yeah.
and if you guys are finding them in Jamaica,
Yeah.
how come we can't find out who's sending them?
Well, this is it.
No,
And who
you
receiving
have
it?
asked that question. Let me throw that back when you are.
Yes.
The barrels leave United States where they have the highest technology that can advise them what's in the barrel.
Enough of them business.
But so
No, that's
so,
what we're
so
talking.
hold on,
Yeah.
Ronnie.
Yes.
God, I'm glad you said that. It's not for them business. What we are saying to do, it's your business to make it
Yes.
leave your place.
Yes.
No.
But listen again.
But they're not going
let-
to take that.
I know, but-
America love gun. Them don't have no rule against
The
it.
America love the gun to leave to come to them.
Them no business with we, sir. Them say
hold on,
them says
gentlemen.
your problem, and them say, you know what they say again, sir. Them say we know from our intelligence, yes, that whole heap of Jamaican mix up in it. So you for deal with them. Not tell we for deal with them.
So when the
But
prime minister gets there and say, listen,
Them talk nice to the Prime Minister.
Listen, Mr. America,
But they're not, they're
please
not
help
done
me.
nothing.
Tell me who these people are, who you know.
Yeah, yeah. They may tell them 1 and 2, but you cannot depend on America to deal with a problem that they do not see as a problem.
Ronnie, don't be unfair to us.
No, it's
I know,
not
but-
unfair.
I think that we
I
have
go
been,
back-
I think that we have tried. We have tried a lot. We have established all sort of special interest.
Yeah.
But have we
go
though?
there, and we are still
Yeah, but-
in the con piece.
But my question again.
Last question
again.
before we go to our guests.
We always hear that these things are found in Jamaica, right? And the only person who seemed to be arrested is a taximan who come pick it up. How come?
Or the little youth in the
Or
corner
the little youth.
who gets
How
it for
come?
drudge.
How come?
Well, you
because the man who send it from there, send it to the taxi man to pick it up to distribute it.
or Pearnel. Listen, what a discussion. Mrs. Nora Blake, welcome to the public eye.
Listen to me. Thank you for having me.
You-
But Pastor, every time I talk to you, Bishop, you marry me off to somebody.
Oh, listen, that's not.
But it's a new year coming up.
Listen,
so we
there's
could probably
great hope and
do that.
expectation. It should have happened, but it soon happened. Miss Nora Blake, manager of the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange. Dr. Donald Rod, can you help with Miss Blake's predicament?
I'll pray and look around.
I like the look around part. Faith without works is dead.
Yes, of
Dr.
course.
Donald Rudd, philanthropist, public servant, well known in the community. I reintroduce you to the Honorable Pearnel Charles, your erstwhile nemesis in the House of Parliament, Dr. Rudd, and to Erwin Clare, journalist extraordinaire from Arijam, our sister station in New York.
And I know both gentlemen quite well.
Very
actually.
good. Yeah.
Met Chief Pearnel when I was a medical doctor in St. Thomas,
Yes?
working out of the late Dr. Bonner's office in the center of Morambe.
Oh, is you?
Also,
In case you don't know, you are not a bad person.
How do you mean?
You are not a bad
What?
person. Respected and loved.
Okay, that's good.
And I know Erwin from the days of student council.
Oh, Lord, that's great.
Goes back very far.
Indeed.
Nora Blake, tell our listeners, remember this program is beamed all over the world. Tell our listeners, what is the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange?
Okay, my pleasure. Thank you for having me, and good day to
Good
all
day to
your
everyone.
listeners.
Thank you.
Yes, it is actually a joy for me to talk about the Social Stock Exchange. I'm the manager for the Social Stock Exchange, so it's my baby. The Social Stock Exchange was launched in 2019 as the newest subsidiary of the Jamaica Stock Exchange group of companies. What is the Social Stock Exchange? It is a market, a virtual market that has been set up that operates very much like the stock exchange, its parent company. The intention of the Social Stock Exchange, the objective, is to facilitate growth of the social sector. So most people know of this Jamaica Stock Exchange and its success with the junior market, where smaller companies in the private sector who had a problem of attracting resources to grow their businesses, to grow that sector of the economy, were able to come to the stock exchange and were listed on the junior market. And so they were funded and were able to do what they need to do. And they even received some capacity building. Similarly, the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange was set up to facilitate the social sector of the economy, which we believe has a great potential, and not only potential, its impact is significant enough to focus attention on it. The attention being given is for capacity building, meaning we're helping them in governance, in project management, in financial reporting and stuff like that, so that they can operate their social activities along the same lines as any company that is here listed on the stock exchange, whether junior or main market. And then significantly to attract the resources that they so badly need for their sustainability. You're talking about technical assistance as well as financial resources.
Where does the Junior Stock Exchange get its money, and how does this telethon that is being promoted now fit into that?
Okay, there are two separate markets. Our junior market is a market for the private sector, and it gets its donation, not its donations, its investors are from the general public. Yeah. In that we are similar. We are not we're not like the junior market or the private, appealing to the private sector. We are in the social sector. The economy is made up of public sector, private sector, and the social sector. The social sector creates its own what we call value creation, which is a money value for the goods and services that are produced by the work that is done by the people in the social sector. And let me just be clear, social sector, we're talking about NGOs, your civil society groups, your youth clubs, your community-based organizations. That's what we mean, benevolent societies, foundations, when you say, social sector. So the social sector now, the market that we are operating in this phase of the social stock exchange is the market for donations, philanthropy.
Yes.
So we're open to everybody, diaspora and Jamaicans locally, to make a financial donation onto this market. So what we are really is a more sophisticated crowdfunding platform than what people are used to when they give donations into good causes.
Sure.
So we're not a black hole like the others that you hear about, because we are operating akin to how the stock exchange runs the stock market,
So
right?
there's accountability.
Accountability, transparency, that's the hallmark. That's the hallmark.
Yes. Donald Rod, how does your philanthropy, how do your movements, the Stop the Violence Project, the Love Changes Lives effort, how does this fit within the structure that Nora Blake has spoken of? Donald, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry, I needed to. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.
Yes, tell us about your programs and tell us how it fits within the stock exchange and the efforts made to secure funds.
Program is a social enterprise, right? We have been officially registered for over 3 years in this new format, and we were one of the 5 pilot projects on the Jamaica. We are one of the 5 pilot projects on the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange, and our work came to the fore because a group of us from different walks of life, educators, other social activists in the religious sector, in philanthropy, arts educators, technologists, communication specialists, behavior change and communication specialists. We came together because we recognized that there were challenges among our young people, and we had worked with young people in different spheres of our lives, some as educators, some as social activists. In particular, a group of us started a summer camp for children, and you'll be aware of that because in your former dispensation, Reverend Thwaites, as Minister of Education, you gave us support and also and former Minister also Ruel Reid. So we have been working with young children for over 10 years. Actually, we started this project back in 2011.
Great.
And it has evolved into a larger than what we call LIFE, a program where we, through research and collaboration with a number of stakeholders, we have created this program, which is a faith-based initiative with the purpose of transforming the lives of primary and secondary school students, but also to work with their parents and to work with the leadership of schools. So it's really a collaborative effort with a lot of stakeholders, because we recognize when we work with the children that there were gaps, and we had to therefore formulate programs to work with the parents and the environment in which these children are going to return to after the specific interventions which they undergo.
What
is there a place in the Ministry of Education that guide this sort of situation?
Yes, we had worked with the school safety and security department.
Yeah.
Yes, in particular. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
actually, we won a which was
we see this is so important.
Yes.
We want to make sure that there's support and mobilization of the people who get that sort of support.
But I'm going to jump you, Pearnel. Donald, if you could, you need to tell us what your results have been over these 10 years that you've been doing this. But if it is as the possibilities are as great as I know them to be, and the important thing for Jamaica now is to scale this up so that it's not just something that is done by generous people, but indeed by the participants in the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange. This is what we have to do to stop crime and violence and to build social comity in the country.
Well,
Yes,
Ronnie,
Ronnie.
let me join you and say, Ronnie, the whole thing cannot continue.
No.
We, all of us, those who have migrated and looking from abroad on us, they were here and they are worried about seeing the same thing going on and on. There is need for a massive change. No, to direct and lead that change is where the problem is.
And that is the dynamic which we're going to talk about with Nora Blake and with Donald Robb after this break. Stay tuned on the Bridge 99. This is The Public Eye. Thanks very much for being with us on the Public Eye. This is the Bridge 99 and Irish Jam in New York with Erwin Clare, and we're talking with Nora Blake of the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange and Donald Rod of the Stop the Violence, Love Changes Lives programs. They're one of the pilot projects on the new stock exchange. So, Miss Nora, how has the Social Stock Exchange started? What are some of the challenges? What are some of the advantages? Please challenge for us, the listeners today, to invest in it. Is Nora hearing us?
Yes, I'm with you.
Okay.
Are you hearing me?
We're hearing you now. Go ahead.
All right, thank you. So the Social Stock Exchange started a perspective of the stock exchange, where our stock exchange became a member of the United Nations group of sustainable stock exchanges. In that, it was felt that stock exchanges needed to be a little more holistic for sustainability's sake. So that was some years ago. In maybe, I think, 2010, a trip was taken to Brazil, where the stock exchange in Brazil, they conceptualized this thing called a social stock exchange. It really was just a corporate social responsibility effort for the Brazilian stock exchange. So having gone down the study visit, looked at what they were doing, we came back and we did some adaptation and decided that the intervention of the stock exchange in Jamaica needed to be more than just the stock exchange's own corporate social responsibility. So what we're trying to facilitate is the build out of the ecosystem around the needs of the social sector, so that we can help to grow the sector, to be able to ameliorate the socioeconomic problems. But of course, to do that, you need funding, you need support to the sector. When let me just say this, that our social organizations officially fall in the category of MSMEs in our structure, how we have, designed business and so on in the country. So we fall in that sector called MSMEs. However, just like regular MSMEs that operate regular businesses, they all have as their number one need the need for funding.
Yes. So
when we looked behind the veil,
yes,
at this particular problem, what was discerned more than anything else is that there was need for capacity building to be able to attract.
Where do you fall into this, Donald? You and the other pilot projects. And what do we look forward to with this telethon?
Well, we will be one of the beneficiaries. We mean in Praise Jamaica Foundation,
yes,
and the Stop the Violence, Love Changes Lives program, because we are hoping to gain some funds that we can expand the work that we have begun.
Yeah.
We have to just what Ms. Blake has said and what you have talking about, building capacity into leadership, and we're talking about leadership at the student level, at the teacher training level, among the parenting groups, among the stakeholders, the environment in which young people operate.
Have you found that your efforts...
We're talking about using technology and using the tools which the young people are familiar with, because you have to be, you have to go into their space. You can't wait on them to come into your space. So you have to create programs. Have you found that education?
Yes. Have you found that these efforts that you've made so far are beginning to have an effect? Are they worthy of the support of the investors?
More than worthy, Ronnie. We have seen turnaround in children's lives. We have testimonials from teachers of how the children have behavior and has changed or have changed, having been involved in these programs. One of our, what you might call our flagship, or one of our poster boys in the program, he was actually expelled from school, and when he was introduced to us in the program in a summer camp residential setting, and subsequently, follow up programs of counseling and showing care and love. We actually sent him back. Personally, I was involved in this along with other teachers to Hart, and he was trained up to level 2. He then learned some other skills, and now he operates his own business. So that's a life.
No, that's it.
Let me ask you this. Hold on, gentlemen.
He was expelled because of violent behavior.
Hold on, gentlemen. Hold on, gentlemen, because I am trying to find out what is the bridge, the link to diaspora groups, how that type of relationship can be fostered. Recognizing too that diaspora groups here too are also seeking funding to augment their programs. So the question will be then, it has to be through partnerships. In other words, working in tandem with other groups in Jamaica to deliver services. The question I want to ask Nora is this: the whole contributions to this program. Does government of Jamaica incentivize contributions? Like, for example, here, when we go out to solicit funding, tax-exempt organizations are able to get tax-exempt funds. Do we have a platform where giving is incentivized? Because I'll be honest with you, many people today will participate if there is a quid pro quo. Put it a different way. This is how we operate in this system here. What is the basis
I got
for
you.
that?
If you have tax relief. Nora Blake, is that possible? Are you a registered charity, or can you be?
Well, in Jamaica as it is now, if you are a registered charity, then you get the benefits of the Charities Act. So entities that are coming on the platform, they can still keep those benefits that they have as a charity if they're a charity. Now, there are many who are not a charity. We ourselves, we are actually a creature that they've never seen before. We're not really a foundation. We are touching so many bases. In their heads, they think stock exchange, those people operate to make money. They've never heard of social. So there is a legislative agenda that we're very active participants in, where we have a social enterprise working group that has labored over drafting and submitting a legislative agenda to the government. One of the things that we're asking for in that is this sort of incentivization to persons who give and to entities like ours who are not officially now seen as a charity, but is catering to that group of entities.
What you need is through that legislative effort, tax-free or tax exemption for contributions on the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange. And if there are people in the diaspora with money in Jamaica, then they could benefit that. We can't we can't offer the tax relief in the United States.
No. That was never the question. No. That was never the question.
Yes, because the partnership is a key point that was made.
Yes. Well, I want a partnership today. You
would have to be. Let us say, for example, UJA. Which is probably the most active group in the
know them, the Alumni Association.
Yes, the Alumni Association.
Very good. So you're connected.
Sorry?
I'm saying that I want a partnership. I want Erwin and yourselves to if not get married, get engaged today.
It's Christmas. That's a very expensive.
No, seriously.
But Randy, I just want to disturb you to say one thing that bothers me.
Yeah.
When I hear all these things running, I'm worried about mobilization of those that you and I know are on the sidewalks in the evening.
Donald can do that. Donald's group can do that.
That's what the groups do.
This is
what Henry Morgan's people can do.
This is the most important thing.
Yes,
and
sir.
it's not a district.
No.
It has to become national in Jamaica.
And
it gets back to where you and I started to talk this morning. How do we get to mobilize?
And what we're talking about is people here, or institutions here. These five who have the capacity. And there are many more.
This is what we're trying to do, Mr. Charles.
Yes,
I think with the increasing capacity to execute their mission and the mobilization of resources and technical assistance, the problems can be dealt with because there are entities here who have those social missions.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this now, because let's get down to the brass tacks here, because we run out of time. This telethon,
Yes.
how does it work now? And what's this all about?
Okay, so the telethon will be held this weekend, the 16th to the 18th of December. The telethon will be staged here at the Stock Exchange. We now have at the Stock Exchange our own cable channel, which is going to be your regional Bloomberg. And on the cable channel, we will be able to stream the telethon for all the hours. The telethon will be between 1 and 5 each day on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Send us the links.
So the telethon will be seen on our website through the CBX link. So on YouTube for the JSE, on the website JSE, JAMSTOCKEX, Jamstock EX, the telethon will be streamed. Additionally, we are blessed to now have the Bridge FM
Great.
as a global media partner.
Great.
So on Friday,
So
I
we
know on
stay.
Friday,
Yes.
we will be having direct
A link.
streaming
Good.
into New York
Okay.
between 2 and 2:50.
So Erwin,
For
key up for
sure.
that.
Yes.
Yes. No,
So the feed will come from our CBX here, and we're
through
in
the
New
bridge.
York. We're also negotiating with our 2 local TV stations, the
with that.
times, the slots.
I
So
have
we will have intermittent.
Good.
So let me just make this very clear. The basic operation of how the telethon can be supported is that our supporters will go to our website. They'll be driven to the website jsscja.com. It is on the website that you can do online transactions with your credit card, your debit card, your PayPal account. I believe we're just setting up for locals here a new system that NCB has, the Figaro payment system. People can also do direct bank transfers. So the information will be all on our website.
Very good.
Additionally, if somebody wants to make a pledge, if they're not ready and able to actually
do
do a
that too.
transfer, they can do a pledge, which we will be able to pick up on the back end of our website
Right,
to be
and
able to
follow up.
continue the relationship.
Sure.
All right.
I want to ask before we talk, Donald Rod, why are you doing this? Why a man like yourself, a medical doctor, with all kinds of different social connections, why are you engaged in this?
And former politician too. Don't
Yes,
forget
why
that.
not?
And one, Mr. Rad, I can
I've been a
add,
social-
let me answer to
I've been
that
a
little
social
part of it.
activist since
You
I
have
was a
started a
child,
long
Ronnie.
time.
Yes.
You
Tell-
have
him
exhibited
know.
a long time.
Donald, your last word.
Yes, I've been doing it since I was a child. You know, it's just a part of me. It's how I was brought up. The values of my parents instilled in me. They were always giving back, and I've always felt the need to give back because where I am today depended on a lot of other people investing love in my life. I want to share some of that love, and I will continue to share that love. And I want to also stress that this program is also going to teach, in addition to pro-social values, introducing children to financial literacy, because we have to help them to know how to sustain the growth that they achieve and whatever they achieve in life, you know, and become investors in their own country.
Right.
And some of them, I'm sure, have begun that already, you know, because as I said, we have been working.
Thank you for highlighting that, Dr.
support
Rod,
that.
because there's no way we could have programs on the social stock exchange and the stock exchange itself not have an input in teaching and imparting knowledge about
Everybody
financial
rope in.
matters.
Nora Blake, Donald Rod, thank you so much. Erwin Clare, rope in your people to back the telethon and continuing efforts. As I say, I want a good message across the bridge for Jamaicans and the social stock exchange. It's a movement in Jamaica. Thanks so much for your connection today. Looking forward to linking you next
Thanks
week.
for having us.
Sure. Yes.
And
Honorable
Chief
Pearnel Charles joins us for the Christmas program next week, Wednesday.
All right,
This
all right,
is the
gentlemen.
Public Eye and the Open Mind, linking with Ira Jam, accepting Erwin Clare's parting greetings. Until next week.
Enjoy yourselves, gentlemen. Go enjoy the football match now. All right. This is what I'm going to do. All the best to you until next week.
Take care. The Public Eye on the Bridge signs off. Till next time.